You just got the orders. You're coming to Fort Leavenworth. Maybe it's for CGSC, maybe your permanent party, and somewhere in the middle of the housing search and the household goods pickup and the pet paperwork, there's a folder on your desk. It's your kid's IEP. And you already know the questions that will keep you up at night. Will the speech therapy continue? Will they honor the para support? Is the new school going to look at that document and say, well, that's not how we do it here, because it's happened to you before, or you've heard it happen to somebody at your last duty station and now you can't unhear it. I want to say something to you right up front. Your child's IEP does not stop working at the state line. It's a legal document, and the day your child enrolls, the new district has an obligation to serve them, not after testing, not after a meeting gets on the calendar, from day one. That's federal law. I'll show you exactly where it comes from in a few minutes. But here's the part nobody tells you. The law protects your child's services. It does not protect your timeline. And the difference between a smooth transition and 4 months of chaos usually comes down to what you do before the truck ever shows up. So that's what this video is. Hi, I'm Payne. I'm a realtor here in the Fort Leavenworth area. I'm also a military spouse, and I've done 13 PCS moves over 30 years of military life. I've watched a lot of families come through here with a folder just like yours. I'm going to walk you through what to do before you leave, what Kansas and Missouri actually require. Grab a notebook and a cup of coffee, or my favorite, a cup of tea. We are going to cover a lot of ground. Here's a quick roadmap. First half is the stuff that applies no matter where you land. The questions to ask before you leave. How to move records so they actually arrive, the evaluation timelines in Kansas and Missouri, which are different from each other, child find, which is the protection most parents have never heard of, and the military-specific resources that exist entirely for this situation. Start with your current district. You have more leverage there than you think because they still have your kid and they still have the files. Ask them these things. 1, can I get a complete copy of the special education file? Not the summary, the whole thing. Current IEP, every evaluation report, eligibility determination, progress reports, behavior plans, related service logs, and any independent evaluations you've paid for. 2, is my child due for a triennial reevaluation in the next 12 months? If so, ask whether they can complete it before you leave. A fresh evaluation in hand is worth a lot. It's the difference between arriving with a current data and arriving with a 2-year-old snapshot. 3, can the case manager write a short transition summary? A 1-page plain language note about what's actually working, not the legal language, the practical stuff. Which supports matter most? What triggers a hard day? Which accommodations are load-bearing and which ones are nice to have? That page will do more in your first meeting here than anything else in the folder. 4, ask for the current provider names and contact info. Speech, OT, PT, whoever. The receiving team will sometimes call them, and that conversation is gold. Now, the receiving district. Call before you sign anything. Every district on this list will take that call. Ask them, I have a current IEP from another state. What's your process when we enroll? When do comparable services start? How do I get on the calendar for a review meeting, and how soon? Which building would my child be zoned to, and are the services on this IEP delivered in that building or somewhere else in this district? Who is my point of contact between now and the day we arrive? That last question is the one that really matters. Get a name, get an email, then use it. Here's the failure point in almost every rough transition I've seen. Not bad faith from anybody, just records that sat in the inbox. Do not rely on district to district transfer alone. Do all three of these. Carry your own copy, a physical folder in the car with you, not in the household goods, not in the moving truck. Every parent who has ever had a shipment delayed 3 weeks knows exactly why. Have a digital copy. Scan it, put it somewhere you can reach from a phone in a hotel parking lot. Email yourself the PDF. Give the district consent early. When you enroll, there's a place to authorize the new district to request records from the old one. Sign it the same day, and then send a short email to the special education department that says, "My child has an IEP. We've enrolled. Here's a copy attached. Please confirm you received it and let me know who the case manager will be." That email is not nagging. That email is documentation. It puts a date stamp on the district's notice, and it's the single most useful thing you can do in week 1. Some districts here will let you start the enrollment application before you have a local address. Fort Leavenworth's district specifically says a local address is not required to begin. That's a real head start, so use it. This is where families get tripped up because the two states run on different clocks, and Fort Leavenworth families routinely look at both. Let's start with the federal floor because it's the same everywhere. Under IDEA or IDEA, when your child transfers in from another state, the new district must provide services comparable to what's in the existing IEP in consultation with you starting immediately. Not after testing. The new district then decides whether to adopt the existing IEP or conduct its own evaluation and write a new one. That's 34 CFR 300.323F. It's the backbone of everything else in this video. Comparable means similar type and similar frequency. If the IEP says 30 minutes of speech twice a week, they should be delivering roughly that while they figure out the long-term plan. It doesn't have to be identical. It does have to be real. Keep in mind that the school is only required to accommodate services that are mentioned in the IEP. For example, if a teacher at your child's previous school allowed him or her to sit in a certain place in the classroom because that worked best for him or her, and it's not in the IEP, the new school is not obligated to follow the same practice. Now, let's take a look in Kansas. If a Kansas district decides to run its own evaluation, Kansas gives them 60 school days from the date they receive your written consent, and Kansas defines that window generously in your favor. Those 60 school days have to cover the evaluation, the eligibility meeting, the development of the IEP, and implementation of services, not just testing. The whole thing. That's in Kansas Administrative Regulation 91-40-8. School days, not calendar days. Holidays, snow days, or any day school may be canceled, like when there's a Chiefs parade and school gets canceled. So a January consent and a May consent are very different animals. If you're consenting in April, some of that clock runs into the next school year. One more Kansas wrinkle worth knowing. If an evaluation was already started at your old school and your child enrolls before it's finished, the new district is supposed to coordinate with the sending school and move it along promptly. Bring proof that it was in progress. Now let's look at Missouri. Missouri runs on 60 calendar days from written consent to complete the evaluation and hold the eligibility meeting. Then, if your child is found eligible, the IEP team has 30 calendar days after that determination to develop the IEP. Calendar days move faster than school days on paper, but Missouri allows extensions for things like extended breaks, so summer moves can stretch. The practical takeaway, in both states, the clock starts when you sign, so don't sit on the consent form waiting to feel ready. Sign it, date it, keep a copy, and note the date in your phone. Most parents have never heard this term, and it's one of the most useful things in the law. Child find is the requirement under IDEA that every school district actively locate, evaluate, and identify children who may need special education. All children in the district's boundaries. That includes kids in private school, homeschooled kids, kids who just moved in, and kids who haven't been identified yet. Why does this matter to you? There's two reasons. One, it means the district's obligation to your child doesn't depend on you filing the right paperwork in the right order. If a district has reason to suspect a child needs services, they have a duty to act. You are not begging for a favor. Two, it covers the kid who doesn't have an IEP yet. Plenty of military families have a child who was flagged at the last duty station and never finished the process because the move happened first. Child Find is how you restart that here. You write a referral request in writing dated to the district special education office. That triggers the timeline we just talked about. Every district in this video publishes a Child Find public notice. Some of them are easy to find, some are buried. If you can't find it, call and ask for it. They have one. Kansas handles Child Find in 2 lanes. Birth through 5 runs through early childhood screenings. Kindergarten through 12th typically starts with general education interventions before a formal referral. You can request an evaluation directly at any point. You don't have to wait for the intervention process to run its course. And it's worth saying that out loud when you ask. For children under 3 anywhere in Leavenworth County, the entry point is the county's Tiny K infant toddler program at 913-250-1111. Now, the good part. There is an entire layer of protection built specifically for your situation, and a lot of families never use it. The Interstate Compact on Education Opportunity for Military Children. People call it MIC-3. It's an agreement among all 50 states about how schools treat military-connected kids who move. Kansas was actually the first state in the country to adopt it into law back in April of 2008. Missouri is a member too. For special education, the compact does exactly what you'd want. It requires the receiving school to provide comparable services and reasonable accommodations under the existing IEP or 504 plan until they can complete their own process. It backs up the federal role with the state level commitment, and it gives you a named person to escalate to if a district gets it wrong. It also covers a lot of adjacent headaches: course placement based on the sending school's assessments, flexibility on graduation requirements, deadlines for extracurricular tryouts. If your kid is a junior or senior, that graduation language is worth reading in full. Advance enrollment. This is a policy that lets you register in a new district before you physically arrive using a copy of your orders. It matters a lot for IEP families because it means the special education team can start coordinating before day 1. As of the last Department of Defense guidance I've seen, Missouri is on the list of states that have adopted it. Kansas is not on that list. That doesn't mean Kansas districts won't work with you early, and several of them clearly do. It means the mechanism is district practice rather than state policy, so you need to ask rather than assume. Your school liaison officer. Fort Leavenworth has one, and this office is criminally underused. School Support Services, 600 Thomas Avenue in the Resiliency Center. Phone is 913-684-1655. They handle compact questions, school transfer issues, special education navigation, and they know the local districts personally. Contact them the day you get orders, not the week you arrive. EFMP, Fort Leavenworth's Exceptional Family Member Program office runs through Army Community Service at 913-684-2800. If you're enrolled in EFMP, loop them in early. Fort Leavenworth School District even publishes a guide on how they support EFMP documentation requirements during a PCS. Military OneSource. It's free, available 24/7, and staffed with consultants who specialize in special needs education. 800-342-9647. They will get on the phone with you and walk through your specific IEP situation. There's no charge and no limits. Direct Step. Army-sponsored, no-cost online training for parents on special education law. If you've ever sat in an IEP meeting feeling like everyone else knew the vocabulary, this fixes that. Ask your SLO for the link. Okay, that's the part that's true no matter where you land. The law, the timelines, the resources. None of that changes based on which district you end up in. The district piece is its own animal. 7 districts, 2 states, different processes for each one. That's a video by itself, and it's up next. For right now, before you go anywhere, here's what I want you doing in the next 2 weeks. Before you leave the old duty station, complete file in hand plus a digital copy. Ask about completing a triennial earlier if one is due. Get a 1-page transition summary from the case manager. Contact the Fort Leavenworth School Liaison Office at 913-684-1655. Call your top 2 or 3 districts and get a named contact. Week 1 after arrival. Enroll and sign the records release consent the same day. Upload or hand deliver the IEP at enrollment. Send the confirmation email to the special education department. Ask in writing when comparable services begin. Get the case manager's name. Week 2, request the review or move-in meeting in writing if one hasn't been scheduled. Meet the actual service providers if you can. If you're consenting to a new evaluation, sign it and note the date because that's when the clock starts. If anything feels stuck, call the school liaison officer and mention the interstate compact by name. That last line does a lot of work, not as a threat, as a signal that you know the framework, which changes the tone of the conversation in a good way. Here's what I want you to take away. You are not starting from zero. There is a federal law, a state timeline, an interstate compact written specifically for military kids, a school liaison officer paid to help you, an EFMP office in 7 districts full of people who do this every single year. What's actually asked of you is organization and a couple of phone calls made earlier than feels necessary. If this was useful, please subscribe. I put out Fort Leavenworth relocation content year-round, and if you're PCSing here and want to talk through where to live around your child's services, my info's below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.